Welcome back to Families in Action right here on KHTS AM 1220, your hometown station. Today we're talking about foster care and adoption summit. I'm Michael Doherty, also known as the Silver Fox, along with Cary Quashen, also known as Cary Quashen, I guess.
That's all right. Thanks, Mike.
We were just talking with Wendy Johnson, who runs a foster care and adoption group over at Grace Baptist Church, and you were talking with Cary about your family and what happened when you first brought in your 2.5-year-old girl from China. How did that turn out? We don't want to leave our listeners thinking, well, that doesn't sound too good.
No. And it gets better, I promise. After about a year or two of trying to just fight it alone, she threw tantrums all the time. She stole from my children. She hoarded food. I had to clean out under her bed several times with food and water bottles and just stuff because she was a hoarder. She did not get enough food growing up. So anyways, I was at my wit's end. I really, really didn't know how I was going to take care of this child. And so Dan and I got together and we started this adoption ministry. And he's like, I want you to help lead it. And I said, no, I need help. I don't need somebody.
Sounds like Dan.
Yeah. Here, Wendy. No. I need help. So there's actually a woman from Arrow who offered free pro bono services to help me through attachment and attaching with her. And all I did was I took her back to a baby. And I used to snuggle with her with a sippy cup. I gave her a choice of chocolate milk or strawberry milk, and we would have special time together. And, you don't realize how much they miss that bonding, that laying, that looking at the mom type thing. And so it changed her. It really did.
And Wendy, I'm going to guess that Dan putting you into that slot, that worked out really well.
Yeah, well, we have a thriving ministry, and it really helping others helped me, and then we were placed with other people who had similar needs, and I think that's a huge thing if you want to foster or adopt. You need help, and you really need support, and I would say get it early, and you need other people who have been there and done it.
And when you have children, you don't need. There's no course you take. There's no things tests you have to take. And fostering a child is the same, but even harder.
Yes,
because there's
absolutely.
more challenges.
Yeah, you're bringing the broken world into your home, literally.
Right. And while we've been talking, 30 minutes of our show is gone. Every 2 minutes, a child goes into foster care, and that means that 30 children, while we've been talking, have gone into foster care.
It's tragic. It really is. And I can only do so much alone, and that's why I'm really hoping other Santa Clarita families will step up to the plate and do it. They actually had a thing in March on LA Times that said that foster families since 2000 have gone from 22,000 homes to 9,000 homes. We're losing homes, and we need more.
That's kind of... I would have thought it was opposite, because there's a lot of people out there that I come across in my travels that want to foster kids for a lot of reasons. One is they can stay home and take care of children. There's money they get. So that's surprising that it went down.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Yeah, I wonder why. What do you think the reason for that?
I don't know.
I know one of the things sometimes is you hear scary stories through the media.
Okay.
And it really makes people tentative. It's hard enough to think about this. But when you hear stuff on social media that pop up of that one story in another state, people are like, I don't know if I want to get involved, and my life is already stressful enough. Mm-hmm. So I think there's a lot of fears that address that, and people it's just the unknown.
Of course.
But you're going to have something coming up that's going to answer all those questions and fill in the blanks and dispel some of those myths.
But I understand what you're saying, because it's not like you're adopting a puppy that you housebreak them and you're done. A child is 24 hours a day, every day.
Right.
And with the special challenges that come with adopting, it's pretty scary.
Right. And if someone in their just personal daily life is really stressed and overwhelmed already,
right,
or really stressed out with money or stressed out with their personal life, there's no way they're going to go, wow, I want to add a child into our home, typically, who has already maybe some special needs or some areas of attachment. like Wendy was talking about. And so, but I think what Wendy was saying is so important is if you do this, don't do it alone.
Yeah.
Of getting support, of talking to someone else, being part of a group, being part of a church group, whatever, that really helps provide that support, because you need that to do something like this well.
So needed, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're talking 60 an hour kids going into into foster homes
Yeah.
or group homes or whatever, protective, whatever it's called, that's pretty heavy. It's sad.
It is.
One of the saddest parts of this, too, is of the 400,000 children in the United States, about 30,000 of them are LA County. So Los Angeles County has the largest child welfare system in the world.
Wow. So that means right here in Santa Clarita we have a need.
Oh, absolutely.
So where do they go?
So what happens, which is really, I think, sad in Santa Clarita, is if there's a child where there is some abuse or some neglect, often the child cannot stay in their own community, which ideally is good for the child to, be able to go to the same park or same school.
Right.
or
Same
have
friends.
something familiar. But what happens is if a child gets taken out of their home here in Santa Clarita because of the lack of home, that child might now be living in West Covina or might be living down in Long Beach.
Simply because of a lack of homes
Just
here.
because there's a lack of homes. And so it's not just they're starting over a new home for a little bit or a temporary home while their parents maybe go to rehab or get help. They have to literally start everything over. And change is hard enough for kids as it is.
Of course.
And so if we can
And
have more homes here.
Trust is so hard. Once it's taken, if you're 2.5 or 3,
Right.
you're
Yeah.
ripped out of somebody's house. It's like, whoa, who do I trust? What do I believe?
Exactly. Yeah.
Right, and so what happens too is it makes it harder just to visits between the parents and the foster home, and all those things just make it more complicated. So if we may have homes here, the child actually feels like they're not losing their community.
Right.
They're just not in their parents' home right now, and so that's one of the reasons we really are having this event is we want more homes in our own area for our children's sake.
So foster homes and adoption obviously are different. There are homes where you can foster a child for short term, and
Yep.
then it goes into long term, right?
Yep. So some people become foster parents, and that's all they want to do, and that's fine. And you actually get to. It depends if you want to go with a LA County directly or go with like a private agency. There's some of them kind of in our area. I'll even throw out their names: Koinonia, Olive Crest, Children's Bureau. Those are just different foster care agencies that people can reach out to in our area where they can get support as foster parents.
So you go, you apply.
Yep,
I
yep.
assume they do some kind of background.
Yep.
They,
Yeah.
Take
you
some
fill out some-
classes. So there is layers
Oh, you
to
take
it.
classes. So
Yes.
Yep, there it is red tape and there is stuff you have to do.
I sure hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, you're taking a child
Exactly.
in your home. I sure hope so.
Yeah.
Right.
And they're very good. I mean, they've even helped me parent my own children.
Right.
So I I would just take them because, they're amazing classes.
Very cool.
we need to hit this several times during the show. So tell us about the foster care and adoption summit that's coming up. And I take it that anybody that's interested in getting involved, this would be a great time for them to
Absolutely.
go and find out.
Really, and this is for anybody, I'd say, who wants to care for kids. One of the featured things we're going to be doing this time that we have not done in years past is our third summit that we've done, is we're adding some breakout sessions on children and sex and human trafficking.
Is that a major issue? Dan?
Yes.
Is it really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because people are so far from it that
Right.
they hear and they but it is a major deal,
Right.
isn't it?
It has
So-
become, yeah. COC just recently did a big old summit on that whole topic. It's really become, unfortunately, a big deal.
Yeah, I've talked to some of my colleagues who I worked with when I was a social worker who are still at Department of Children's Services, and they say just out of the Santa Clarita office, this is not the Antelope Valley office or Pasadena office, this is just the Santa Clarita office. Sometimes they will have, depending on the month, 2 to 4 cases a month that they're investigating human trafficking with children, with minors.
What is that's like? How do you even think? I'm just like, wow, right?
Yeah.
Right.
It's
And the average age for these kids is usually 12, 13, 14. And a lot of the children are pursued online.
Right.
And so that's one of the reasons we're having breakout sessions on how to volunteer and help in that area. There's different organizations to do that, or even how to protect your own kids online, because that's how, unfortunately, some perpetrators really pursue vulnerable children, is through certain apps or go online, social media. and they actually purposely look for vulnerable kids who are longing for connection. who
And
feel
there
really
are
lonely.
plenty of them.
Right. And so we really just have a passion to help in that way. One of the other groups of people that we want to talk about or really encourage to come to this summit on November 12th.
I was just going to say, what can you give us a date
Yep.
and a time on that?
November 12th.
That's a Saturday.
It's a Saturday, 8 to 12:30. The website is gracebaptist.org/forever families. So gracebaptist.org/forever families. It's only $10. And we also would like to have high schoolers and college students come, because I know they have a real passion for social justice.
Right.
And trafficking is something. And also, it relates a little bit to Wendy's story, is we've had a number of people who become adoptive parents, and we asked them, where did that start? And they said it was in their younger years. There were seeds planted, and just similar to even Wendy watching a movie or different experiences that led to, now I want to do something as an adult. I may be in a better place to do that. And so we really want to reach out to our young adults for this.
Very cool.
Wendy, I was just going to ask you, what would you say to our listener that's out there thinking, gosh, I don't know, I kind of would like to do something like that, but I don't know. What would you say to somebody?
You know, a lot of people have asked me, how do I know I'm ready to be a foster parent? You know, what does it take and that kind of stuff? And I'm like, you know what? No child ever plans to be an orphan.
Yeah.
These children are taken from their homes and they're stripped of everything they know. They usually get a trash bag in like 15 minutes to collect their stuff, and then they're taken to some place, and we need good,
Some scary,
safe
scary,
families.
uncomfortable place
Yeah.
that they have no idea what's happening.
And what you said was not an exaggeration. Literally, they're
Literally.
told you're going to this place and
Yes.
pack everything up in 15 minutes, you're gone.
Yeah,
you know
there's
what,
policemen
Mike?
and-
No matter how bad they have it, that's all they know.
That's right.
So when they're being ripped out of something bad, they think they're going to something worse.
Yeah, they have no idea.
I have no idea.
No.
So somebody that's out there,
I would just say you can do it. If I can do it, you can. Through the foster care system, you do get a stipend. It's not huge. It's not going to make you rich, trust me. But it gives you the ability. Like, we can buy a 12-passenger van now because we're going to need a bigger car. We're going to be able to take our kids to sports and do stuff like that. You know, I can do that kind of stuff. So you don't be afraid of the money at all.
So they actually do help. That you get the funding at least to support the child.
Exactly. Yes. It
So
goes
it's-
a long way toward groceries and necessities
So
and
it's
that
not
kind of
gonna
stuff.
it's not gonna kill you out of pocket.
Not at all. I mean, and I'm not better off, but I'm, you know, we're fine because we have it.
and the,
Well,
and
I would tend to not agree with that. I think you're definitely better off because you're making such a difference. It's got to feel good at night.
Emotionally, absolutely. I mean, I can't tell you, talk about that little girl that I couldn't
Yeah.
hardly even stand when we first got her. I cannot tell you how much I love my daughter Megan. She is my prize and my joy, and every time I look at her, I see just this beautiful, amazing woman. You know, growing up, she's only 10, but wow. So you get blessed.
Your face tells the story.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to say. Absolutely. And
Hey Dan, where'd you find her?
She's amazing.
Yeah, she is amazing, isn't she?
Absolutely.
and the great thing about it is here in Santa Clarita, they have places to go for support, like the group that you have at Grace Baptist Church.
Yeah, so once a month, Saturday night, we do have a monthly, we have potluck, and then we usually have a speaker come in and talk about a topic relevant to our situation, whether it's attachment or, you know, international adoption or whatever it is, we cover something.
Oh, I just keep thinking, Cary, about how awful it has to be for the children. I mean, like you said, you're taken from whatever you know, whether it was good or bad. It's what you know. You're taken from that,
Right.
and you're put someplace else, and you don't know. It's
I've
like
dealt-
you said, who's this lady? I don't.
I've dealt with
like
it.
her.
I've dealt with it in my career, but in nothing like what you guys are talking about. But just sitting down with some of the children and listening to their stories, it's pretty sad.
It is.
It's pretty sad. But you guys are living it.
Well, one of the things, too, that people don't realize is they can help even if they don't take the child in to
Absolutely.
their home. So I think that's one of the myths that people think, well, you know, I'm not at a place to take a child in. There's plenty of things you can do. A number of the agencies do something called respite care, And respite care is pretty much giving the foster parents a break when needed.
Gotcha.
So it's almost like you're a babysitter or someone provide a little bit of a break for the foster parents. So let's say you can't take a child in full time. Like I know Olive Crest does this, I believe, sometimes with some of the other agencies. Another one is through CASA, which is court-appointed specialists, where in essence you go and actually meet with a child one-to-one to see how they're doing, just for the child's sake. And so CASA, it's like one of the many agencies that we're going to have at our summit on November 12th. And so there's other ways that people can get involved besides just taking that child in.
Sounds like you're actually showing the child, like you just said, where you can sit down one-on-one. You're actually showing these children that there are people out there they can trust.
Absolutely.
So you're trying to help let them know, hey, we know things happened in the past. And it's hard for you to trust people, but look, there are good people in this world.
Right.
Yes.
And there are age differences in the children that go into foster care, because if their family winds up in trouble and they're taken from their home, they could be into their teen years.
Absolutely.
You had what, 2.5, right?
Yeah, my children have all been 2.5 to 3 when we adopted them. This next child we put up to age 13, so we're willing to take an older child this time because all my kids are older.
Which then comes with other challenges.
Absolutely.
Clearly different challenges. How old's your daughter now?
She's 10, almost
Cool.
11.
So you've had her for what?
8 years.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And now I bet she couldn't dream of being anyplace else.
Yeah, no, I mean, she loves she's very proud of her Chinese heritage, and we're learning the language together, so it's
really?
fun. I cannot do tones of Chinese. It's really hard, but we're working on it together, and it's fun. So, yes.
Can you say hello to her in Chinese?
Well, it depends, but ni hao. I don't know.
Okay, I put her on the spot.
Mike,
That is
ni hao is good enough, okay?
Yeah,
That's
well,
hello,
I-
okay?
We do a little more.
I can do some
Okay.
more.
Okay.
Don't push it, Mike. Be nice.
What are the needs here locally, Dan?
Well, one of them is to care for the teenagers, because most people want to adopt the infant,
Yeah.
right? But one of the interesting websites that people can go on is heartgalleryla.org. So
Heart Gallery.
galleryla.org. And there are, I'd say, a few dozen pictures of kids, mostly 7 through 17, that all actually want to be adopted but aren't.
Wow.
So it actually shows a picture. It gives their description of kids that really want to have a permanent home, and the parents aren't going to get their children back.
Where are these kids now?
They're currently in foster homes in which it's not going to be an adoption. The foster parents have decided they've not want to adopt, and the parents have not gotten their act together or gotten clean, and
So they can't go home.
So they can't go home. That's not going to be a reality. Maybe they're imprisoned for 5-10 years.
Right.
And so these kids really want to be adopted. So actually, that's a website that's interesting but sobering to think of these kids that long for something permanent but don't have it.
Heart Gallery.
Yep, heartgalleryla.org.
I just have to say this. I've always felt this way. All children deserve to be able to grow up in a nice, healthy atmosphere. They really do.
Absolutely.
I feel so badly for so many kids that are out there in homes that are just torn apart.
Yes.
And so this is a wonderful thing because you're giving them a second chance, basically.
HeartGalleryLA.org.
Right.
On that
Yep.
note, Michael, it's time. This is Families in Action on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Families in Action. My name is Dan Broyles and part of KHTS 1220, your hometown station. And we're talking about foster care and adoption. And we're just really thrilled to be able to address this issue in our city and in our community. And one of the areas that we haven't talked about quite as much yet is teenagers and teenagers
Yeah.
that 18 to 21-year-old, and what do they do and where do they go? And one of the tragic things that happens is they say between the ages of 18 and 24, if a child was in foster care right before that, they have about a 60% chance of being homeless in that 6-year period, which is just really tragic to think of that. And part of that is they don't have the skills. I mean, just think of how many 18-year-olds in our culture are ready to be complete adults. The new phrase adulting, that can take a long time. And so one of the other sad parts that people can help out with is actually scholarships for foster youth. Part of it is they found about 3% of foster youth actually end up getting a college degree.
Only 3%.
3% of foster youth get their bachelor's degree, which is really sad, because then if they're not getting that education,
Right.
it does make it a lot harder in our culture without having the college that they need.
Let me ask you a quick question. Do the children that quote unquote graduate from foster care, do they tend to stay in touch with their foster parents? If, let's say, if things were going well, or
Depends on the foster parents.
okay,
Yeah.
A lot of foster parents can be frustrated because there is a lot of problems. Let's say that teenager is not reliable or using drugs sometimes, and so stuff can become tense. And unfortunately, there are foster parents out there that do foster for the money. It does depend on the home, and so part of that is every young adult needs a few people in their life they can talk
Yes.
with or rely on, whether in a foster care or not.
I've known some wonderful foster parents that never had less than 6 in a home, and their kids. I mean, that's 30 years ago, and they still speak to their kids. So there's some great people out there doing some great
Absolutely.
stuff. You also said something about Bakersfield.
Yeah, there's an organization in Bakersfield called Covenant Coffee.
Covenant
And
Coffee.
Covenant Coffee is an amazing organization that they have set up coffee shops in Bakersfield in which foster youth, and that's what they focus on, can actually get a job working for them to get job skills.
Wow.
Because the average 18-year-old who's wrapping up foster care doesn't have any skills.
And
No.
I see that's where it's broken.
Job
Our
skills.
system
Right.
in general, because
Right.
a lot of people, once they're 18, they're done.
Yeah.
and that
There's
is
no more funding. Is that true?
yeah,
well,
No, it's
that has
Or
changed.
I heard that.
So now they can get a stipend till about age 21, between 18 and 21. However, there's mixed reviews on how well the 18 to 21-year-olds are using their own financial stipends.
Of course.
but
Yeah.
but the thing is, at
But
18
but
years,
the foster people don't get the money anymore.
Right.
The kid gets it.
The kid gets it. So if he wants to rent a room from somebody,
Right.
he or she can use the money for some of those basic needs.
And a lot of these kids aren't quite equipped to know how to manage and budget that money.
Right.
and the way it's set up at 18, that's the end of the foster care program.
Well, so they can stay with the foster parent, but both of them have to agree to it.
Right.
What's going to be the financial arrangement between that foster parent and that young adult? And the other great thing about Covenant Coffee is they actually have housing.
Oh, really?
So they actually have housing for this 18 and 21-year-old, and they have job skills, and they have the resources to connect them for counseling.
Very
Very
cool.
And they also work a lot with, I think, a couple churches up there, just for a sense of community support. And so Covenant Coffee is doing a great job. So just to remind us about the summit on November 12th, the website is gracebaptist.org/foreverfamilies. And it's 8 to 12:30, and we love to have people there who just want to make a difference in a child's life.
So you don't have to want to foster a child
Absolutely.
to come
No.
to this event.
Right. So if you're a teacher or you're a grandparent or you're a student and you want to care for kids, this is a great event just to learn more about how to be a person maybe for youth one day.
Great. And just quickly, what is that other website where there's pictures of people on it again?
The other website that actually has pictures of kids is heartgalleryla.org. Heartgalleryla.org.
Hey, Dan, it's always so great to have you here. And I'll tell you, you and Grace Baptist do so many amazing things for this city here that, I mean, you are truly one of our little local heroes. So thanks
Thank
for
you.
all you do.
And I just wanted to ask Wendy real quickly. You're the foster parent here. What would you say closing out the show?
Just don't be afraid. Take a leap of faith, take a leap, and you will be blessed far more than you can ever possibly imagine.
Wow,
And
couldn't
Wendy,
have said it better.
Michael, Dan, she's amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
You're amazing. And what you're doing for the children is nothing but amazing. So thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And hey, it's time, Michael.
It's that time.
I'll let you close it.
All right. This has been Families in Action here on KHTS AM 1220, your hometown station. Join us again next Monday. Same station will be here. Bye-bye.